Hey everybody. Today's video I'm going to talk about reworking jewelry that you don't wear into something that you want to wear. If you're anything like me, you probably have some jewelry hanging around in your jewelry box that you can't even remember the last time you've worn it. But you're not ready to get rid of it or not willing to get rid of it. Maybe it has some intrinsic value. It's valuable for the metal or the stone or the designer or the workmanship. Maybe it's something you inherited. Maybe it's something sentimental that reminds you of a holiday, a special event, or a period in your life. And even though it's not something that you wear, it's something that you hold on to for those reasons. But you'd like to wear it. You like looking at it. You like it. You just can't make it work with your wardrobe or with your size. So, the best time to purge your wardrobe and pretty much all your possessions is when you're getting ready to move. And I've been going through things and pulling out things I don't want to get ready to sell them or pack them. And I was going through my jewelry box, pulling out stuff I don't want to put aside to sell, and I came across a box of amber jewelry. And, what I wanted to keep, okay, I knew exactly what I wanted to keep. What I wanted to get rid of, I knew what I wanted to get rid of. There are a couple pieces, I'm like, you know what, I really like these, but they're not usable as they are. So I thought, what can I do with these? And it's two pieces. Back in the early 90s, a really close friend of mine, she's very knowledgeable about jewelry, and she had a small business making handmade jewelry, gifts, things like that. And so whenever the Gem and Mineral Expo came to our city, like 2 or 3 times a year, she would take me along with her, and because she was in the trade, we would get to go into the back room where all the importers and wholesalers and distributors and designers sold to the trade. And I had wanted some amber jewelry, and she really knew her stuff. And I told her, look, this is back when you could still get Baltic amber, nice Baltic amber jewelry for a somewhat reasonable price. And I'd saved up some money, and I told her, okay, I want some amber jewelry. Help me not get ripped off. And she pointed me to a dealer that she had purchased from many times before, and she said, okay, these people have good quality, they have good prices, the workmanship is good, you're not going to get ripped off. And first thing I bought was, I make bead jewelry, and I bought a string of graduated polished amber beads that are a little bit rough. They're not perfect, and I really kind of liked that almost perfect look, and I liked the color of the amber and the string. So I bought this strand of beads. I strung it on some beading wire with just a basic Bally silver, sterling silver clasp and loop. And then up at the front, it's hard to tell, they're very tarnished, but I had some Bally silver spacer beads that I put here and there just for some interest in the front. Well, okay, I've had this for probably 26 years, and I was a lot smaller. If you can see, yeah, I was a lot smaller 26 years ago. So that fit my neck well 26 years ago. Okay. And it doesn't anymore. It's too tight. It's a choker. I can't stand chokers. I've got to have at least a couple inches clearance on a necklace on my neck, or I feel like I'm being choked. I don't wear it. I don't want to wear it. I could probably make an extender for it, but I never messed around with that, and I haven't worn it probably in 20 years. So the other piece is this really beautiful, oh, Miss L is shut out and she's angry, is this really, really pretty Baltic amber pin, oval pin with a big piece of polished amber in it. in a really pretty sterling floral, almost Art Deco mounting, and it's a pin. So the reason why I chose a pin, I liked this piece. I liked the shape of it. I liked the Art Deco kind of mounting. I really liked the stone. It has a lot of what they call spangling in it. I really like that look. It has a few inclusions down in it. It's just a really neat piece of amber, and I really like the overall look, so I bought. I used to, at the time, I had a job where I had to wear a blazer or equivalent type jacket to work, and I would wear pins on my lapel to kind of dress up my outfit, and I thought, okay, I'll have this to wear to work. Well, I wore it a few times and then it fell off. It came unpinned and fell off. Luckily, I saw it on the floor and picked it up before anybody else saw it, or, you know, before I left for the day, and it got, you know, potentially somebody else found it. So it was a lucky catch, and I was like, ooh, I don't want to risk losing it again. So I never wore it again. And I only wore it 3 times 25 years ago. So what are you going to do with it? Well, I'm trying to decide what I can do. And I got to looking at these 2 pieces and I thought, you know what? I'm going to take this and I'm going to split it in the middle. I'm going to attach it. There's some little open areas on this mounting where I can get a piece of bead wire in on either side. I'm going to split this and attach it on either side so that this becomes, let me get this so you guys can see it, so that this becomes the focal point to like a statement necklace. And it's going to look a little bit more like that. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do with this, and that way I'll be able to wear it again. And by doing this, I'm adding 2 inches here, and I've also got a bunch of new spacer beads that I'm going to add some more silver spacer beads just to add some silver interest, kind of tie this in with this big heavy silver mounting and the silver clasp, and that's going to add another inch or 2. So this is going to end up being the perfect length for a short necklace for me. So yeah, this is how I'm going to rework this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and bust this apart and get started with it, and I'll show you guys what I come up with. Okay, I'm back. I've got my supplies set up before I get started here. This is not going to be a tutorial. I don't have a filming setup right now to be able to zoom in close enough to really get good light and good quality to show you what I'm doing. There's so many really good jewelry tutorials on YouTube. I'll explain exactly what I'm doing, and that way if you want to do something similar to this, you can look up the techniques. I used to teach bead jewelry making, and I can walk you through it. It's just I don't right now have the ability to film a really good, what I would consider a good quality tutorial. So this is more or less just an idea video. But what I got together, what I'm going to need to do this, I have 2 pieces of bead wire. Some people call this tiger tail. There's all different kinds of brands and weights, and this is just your basic lightweight. I was going to try to get the kind that's more supple and fluid, but I didn't have any. I thought I had some, but I can't find it, and I didn't get a chance to go look for it because they don't have it at my neighborhood craft store, and I just didn't get a chance to order it. So I'm going to try it with this. If I don't like it, I can always take it apart and redo it. And then I'm going to need, it's going to be very hard to see, these little teeny tiny things are silver crimp beads. And I really hope I don't mess up because I only have 4 and I need 4. And then I have these 2 things I've never worked with, and actually I need 4 of them. They're called crimp bead covers, or crimp covers. And I've never used these before. I didn't even know they were a thing, but I need 1 for each crimp. And these I had to order. And then I've got a selection of spacer beads. I've got some, oh, how big are these? Dang it. The bigger ones are 6 millimeters. The smaller ones are 4 millimeters, and I think they're 33 of the big ones. They're sold by weight, so I got 10 grams of the big ones. And I'm just going to use, I guess, however many I have. And the small ones, I got 100 of them. So I'm going to use as many as I need. I'm going to start off putting a spacer between each bead and see how that looks. So we'll see. So the first thing I need to do is I need to say, yay me. I'm going to try to cut this. I'm going to try to cut this right here in the middle. Oh, there we go. All right, I'm going to very carefully put this one up there because I don't want to do anything with that yet. And I want to pull these off one at a time because when I originally strung this thing, I sized the beads and strung them from biggest to smallest. So the first thing I'm going to want to do, and I really should have thought this out a little better before I started actually doing it. Well, yeah, that's yay me. Okay, I'm going to go in right here where these two little doodlies are on this mounting. Okay, now always cut your wire bigger than you need. That way you've got plenty of extra to work with. So I'm going to try to seat that right in there. And man, this is hard to do when your eyes are old. Oh geez, I have to pick up these teeny tiny beads more by feel than sight now. Come on, dude. You're making me look like an idiot. Alright. Yeah. Professionalism at its best. Can you tell I used to do this for pay? Alright. I used to teach jewelry making classes in Houston for Leisure Learning Unlimited. I used to teach a basic bead jewelry class where I taught people how to make a bracelet. We made a bracelet and a pair of earrings. And, okay. So you could learn all the basic beading techniques with all of these findings. Okay, so you slide your crimp bead on. Oh my. This is where I wish I had a third hand. I have a third hand. Not in the way you think. I have this thing that's like a little heavy weighted mounted thing with little alligator clips on it that's a third hand for jewelry making. But it's in with my soldering supplies. Alright. I don't know if y'all can see what I'm trying to do here. I don't have crimp pliers. I do, but they're really crappy and I don't know how to use them. Let's see if I can... I really want to bring this down close. I crimped it part way to where it's going to hold, and I want to really try to bring this bead down close. But I want it to where it can still move. Alright. Okay, that right there. I just did my little crimp. Alright, now the next thing I want to do is something I've never done before, and that is use a crimp cover. Crimp cover, man, I'm going to drop this little thing. I'm going to try to hold this up. It's like a little clamshell, and you wrap it around your squashed crimp bead, and you very gently close it, and it covers up the ugly, and you get something that looks like a nice round bead. I am going to go ahead and put you guys on hold, and I'm going to put on my magnifying glasses, and I'm going to put my crimp cover on, and I'm going to do the other side. So I will see you guys in just a minute. Okay, can you believe I did it? I did it without just completely squashing my crimp covers, and I did it without dropping a crimp. So that right there is what I'd set out to do. Attach 2 pieces of beading wire to the pin with 2 crimps and cover them with crimp covers, and I'll spin those crimp covers around after I'm done so that the little split isn't showing. In fact, let me see if I can do that now. Oh man, it took me, well, I don't want to say how long it took me to do this, but it's just obvious that I've lost some fine motor skills and some fine visual acuity, I guess. But I got it done, and yay me. So the next step is I'm just going to leave this one free. I'm going to string a large spacer bead first. I can scoop it up on my thread, and there we go. Not really going to be able to see much of what I'm doing, but I'm going to, this extra tail of my bead wire, I'm tucking in there just for security. And let's see, but I can't see the little holes in the beads. Like I said, I have to do this by feel now, y'all. This is not, man, 30 years ago I could just whip through this. There. Anyway, so how's the weather? How's everybody doing? I'm gonna stop this and go on to the next step in a minute. I'm not gonna make y'all sit here and painfully watch me try to thread beads, but I just want to give you an idea of what I'm doing. I'm going to string them in order from biggest to smallest. And I'm going to use, of course, half of my large spacers. Well, I had 33 in my 10-gram package, so I'm going to end up using 32. So I'm going to do 16 on each side. So I'm going to do 16 of the big beads, I think. Maybe not. We'll see. I'm going to play around with it and see how I like how it looks. I'm not going to make you guys sit here and watch while I play around with it, but this is essentially how I'm starting off. I'm starting off with the silver spacers and the amber beads, and once I get my mojo back and decide how I want to space these out, I will come back and show you guys before I put the clasp on. Okay, so I've got the first half done, and let me see if I can, there we go. Alright, so I ended up stringing 7 of the large spacers and 13 of the little spacers. A, because I thought that kind of looked good, and B, my birthday is July 13th, so 713. And I decided, well, it looks right with that number. I tend to like to use, in making jewelry, odd numbers. I like odd numbers. They seem to be more pleasing to the eye, odd numbers of things. So I said I want to pick odd numbers. So I did 7. That looked about right. 13. That looked about right. And then I stopped and just started stringing the beads themselves. So I left myself plenty of bead wire to work with on the end, because I hate trying to fiddle around with just a couple inches of bead wire. Bead wire is cheap. It's not precious metal, so I don't care if I'm wasting 4 or 5 inches of it. I like to have enough to work with that I'm not having to fiddle with it too much. The next step, I have to take this little eye off the clasp and attach it to this. So I'm going to do the same thing I did when I put the pin on the wires. I'm going to use crimp beads and then a crimp cover. And surprisingly, those crimp covers worked really easy. I thought for sure I was going to have trouble lining the little clamshell part up, and for sure I was just going to accidentally crush it. But no, it worked out great. So I'm definitely going to start using those when doing these kind of projects from now on. I'm not going to make you guys watch me do this. So Or maybe I will, who knows. Okay, let me see, let's see if I can do this without making a mess. Let me put I swear my eyes, I have to put my prescription glasses on for the astigmatism, and I have to put my magnifiers on over them. And that's what I have to do to work with this up close stuff now. And I'm trying not to clip my finger. Dang. Dang, dang, dang. Oh, why? There we go. Snip. And then this is the old wire from the old necklace. So, spacers away. Oh boy. Now, crimp. Come on. I better not accidentally. Oh, I've taken. Oh, shh. No. Okay. Maybe. Dang it. Dang it. I lost a crimp bead. Okay. We got a situation. I gotta find this crimp bead because I only have as many as I need. I'll see you guys back in a minute. Okay, well, that little crimp bead is gone. It's a good thing I did get the crimp covers because I don't have any more silver crimp beads. I'm going to have to use a brass one for the last one. But, oh boy, okay. Let's try not to send this crimp bead flying into the great unknown. Got the glasses and the magnifiers on. Come on, girl, you can. I need to get one of those like magnifiers on a stand that you can set up in front of you and just look down through. I think I might have one, but I don't know where it is. Okay. Need to ask my husband. I think he might have borrowed it for something. Alright. So, yeah, if you want to know how to do this little maneuver here, you're going to look up attaching a crimp bead. So I need to leave a tiny bit of room here for that crimp cover, so I don't want to pull it down as tight as I otherwise would, and I pulled it down a little bit tight. Okay. I need to be able to fit this clasp piece in here. Okay. So, let's see if I can do this without embarrassing myself. Alright, I'm using these little pliers that have this little hook and this little tiny thing. Wish I had some usable crimp pliers. The only ones I have came from like one of those cheap kind of crafty supply places online, and it was really bad quality and it really doesn't work. It's not aligned properly. Ooh, and I didn't crimp it tight enough. So let me pull that back down. Let me try to do that again. There we go. Alright. Okay, yeah, that. Get these little tiny things in there. There we go. I wanted to get a little tight. There. There. That's what I wanted. Was that right there. That's what I wanted. Okay, before I put my crimp cover on, I'm going to thread the tail back through these beads. The hole is big enough that I can. Sometimes if you're working with gemstone beads, the holes are drilled so tiny that you can't really thread it back through very much, and then you have to be really careful with your crimps, because that's the only thing holding it all together is your little squashed crimp bead. But with this one, I have been able to rethread it quite a ways. I like to rethread it as much as I can, to be honest. It's just if something goes wrong and the crimp fails, or the clasp fail, or the crimp fails, or the or it attaches to your clasp fails, it's not all gonna just fall apart. And I have had bead jewelry. I think most of us have seen the, you know, the woman with the string of pearls just come apart. And that's why you always knot your pearls. Alright, now this is the next little tricky maneuver. When you're going to trim your leftover tail, please don't trim the actual, you know, thing you've just strung. And I'm not going to admit how many times in my beading career I've done that, but it's been a few. Oh geez, now I can't see what I'm doing. Now I'm gonna have to get it really up in front of my face to tuck that. And you gotta, this is when having nails helps, because you can tuck that into its last bead. Alright, that's on. Okay, that's on. I'm gonna go ahead and put the crimp on, or the crimp cover on, and show you what I got. Okay everybody, so this side of the necklace is done, and I'm gonna lay this out a little bit so you can see. Let me move my tools. This side of the necklace is complete, and this is just my little pile of tarnished spacer beads that I'm going to, I don't know, I'll put them aside. Maybe I'll clean them up, figure out how to clean them up without taking the patina out. Probably put them between my polishing cloth and just polish them real good, and I can use them for something else. Alright, I'm going to put those aside, and I'm going to dig out a brass crimp bead, and then I'm going to just repeat this process on this side, and I will show you guys the finished product. And there it is. It came out exactly as I wanted it to. I wanted a statement necklace with the big amber pin as the focal piece, and then I took the beads and restrung them, graduated again from biggest to smallest with some spacer beads about here on either side to tie it in with the mounting and the clasp. I used the new crimp covers, which I've never used before, really liked those. The whole project came together really well, and I managed to add about 3 inches to the length, so hopefully it won't be choker tight on me now. So I will go ahead and show this to you guys, how it looks, and that's how it looks just holding it. I'll show you guys how it looks on, and like I said, I'm really pleased. So, you know, if you have jewelry hanging around, you like it, but you're not wearing it, maybe you can rework it or have somebody rework it for you. It wasn't that difficult. You saw from start to finish. All of these supplies you can find in a craft store if you want the sterling silver version. Some craft stores have them. I got most of mine off of Etsy and eBay, but you can definitely, you know, the materials are accessible. The tools are basic jewelry tools, beading tools. Nothing was particularly involved. There are tutorials showing how to do every step of this, so this is something you guys can do if you want to. And I'll show you how it looks on. Alright, so this is how it looks. Obviously I'm not gonna be normally wearing it when I'm wearing just housework clothes, but yeah, it's a good length. I like the way it looks. It's a good size for me. This is really gonna look good with the proper outfit. So I'll definitely have to show you guys how it looks with an outfit that I would normally wear it in. But yeah, I like it. So I salvaged 2 pieces of jewelry that I haven't worn in probably 20 years. I haven't worn the necklace in probably 20 years, and I haven't worn the pin in probably 25 years. So I've salvaged them, and now I've got a really cool piece of jewelry that I'm going to wear often. So hope you guys liked watching what I did. And if you have any questions about how I did this, let me know, and I'll guide you to some tutorials that show step by step what I did. Bye-bye.